Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. And as always, we'll start with EVE Online where the war deck continues. So right after Concord invalidated the first war declaration, they just came back with a second one. So we're in our second week. This is actually a normal pattern in my opinion. I don't think I've ever been in a war deck that only lasted 1 week and usually extended at least once to see what happens. So for me that does mean that I played a little bit less EVE Online than what I would normally do. I've been patrolling a little bit in my stealth bomber trying to see if there are any enemies that I can try to attack, but so far I haven't really found anyone online when I was online, so I'm not sure what's going to happen eventually, but yeah, it did lower my activity a little bit. I don't want to be caught with my pants down while I'm like exploring or doing conduits or something like that. So I did get to do a little bit of exploration. We're doing that in what I think is a decently safe space. And other than that, I finished my evacuation. We're also slowing down, of course, when it comes to the production of the blueprint copies, because we don't want to risk any of those expensive blueprints. And yeah, we're basically ready. We'll see what they decide to do in the upcoming week. And of course, I will keep you guys up to date as well. On the development front, I'm really curious as to how SSP is going to handle the fact that they were forced to cancel FanFest because of the coronavirus. So we'll see. I think that SSP is developing a plan to announce everything, and that of course means that early April we should get a lot of information. I wonder if they'll release a trailer. I think that's normally the plan at a FanFest, so I look forward to that. Maybe a roadmap, that would be really cool. We already do see that SSP has basically upped the production of the EVE Pulse episodes where they give us some information in short videos. SSP Burger showed up there as well. Looks like we're getting visual upgrades for the moons next. That could be interesting. Of course, the frigate escape bay is coming as well. And then SSP Burger promised that we would see more of him as he would announce and explain to us what the plans are for EVE Online. I definitely look forward to that. Of course, we'll see how the war works. I don't want to give them targets when I don't have to, so I definitely don't want to like motivate the enemy to keep going either. So at the moment we're basically retreating a little bit, just seeing what happens, but not engaging too actively with this war deck. That's another tactic that you can use, of course, to try and limit the damage and limit the motivation from your opponents. If of course they go for my structures, we will see. Perhaps we'll try to organize something with CVA, or just a couple jumps out and are actually probably powerful enough to tackle the enemy. So we will see how all of that evolves, and of course, as always, I'll keep you guys up to date. Next up, we have some more Dota Underlords for the first season. I'm doing some of those daily challenges at the moment. I still enjoy the game, honestly. It's a little bit like a card game, but it feels fairer to me because you can't like have cards that your opponent cannot have access to because, you know, you paid money or you played that much more, something like that. Everyone basically starts with the same potential roster, and then you get RNGs that will you know, give you better or worse options, and that's how that game evolves. I've been winning a surprisingly high amount of games in casual knockout games, and I've been able to win with pretty much any combination. This is really what has surprised me, is how well balanced the game feels at the moment. Hunters are still very powerful, I have to admit that. On the other hand, you still need 6 hunters to get the full bonus out of that synergy, so I'm not really sure if that's always easy to do. I definitely don't win all the games where I go for hunters, but when it does work out, of course, they do become very powerful. Demons are something really special. Combine that with Anasics, they can do crazy damage, so that's really interesting too. Assassins work, knights work, healers work, the spiders work as well. The insect synergy works really well too. What is the one called where you like debuff the armor of all the enemies? I think it's Heartless. That's actually been really powerful, very easy to combine with like knights, get 1 hunter bonus, get demons. So that one is really powerful as well to branch out from. Yeah, really, honestly, I'm having fun with the Dota Underlords, and it is basically what I'm doing now, waiting for what's coming next week, of course. a new league for Path of Exile should be starting next week. I'm definitely going to play that one as well. In fact, I have a friend from work who should also try Path of Exile for the first time with that league. It's going to be interesting, and that is probably the reason why I will go for softcore trade league in all likeliness, just to, you know, see if I can't help him out a little bit from time to time, or if we can't play together. If I would go hardcore solo self-found, that's not really where you want to have your first experience, I think, for Path of Exile. So that's on the radar as well. That is probably coming starting, well, I'm not sure when the videos would come out, but starting next week, as soon as the league launches, I am definitely jumping back on that train as well. Super game, of course, and definitely something that I can recommend for anyone. Free to play game as well. Just download it from Steam if you've never played it. It's definitely right at the moment, I would say, the best ARPG that you can play. I prefer it over Diablo now that I've experienced it enough, that I have certain builds that I can get into late game, not necessarily end game, but definitely late game, and it's super fun to play. So that's what's coming next for this week, though. Only play a little bit of EVE Online and a little bit of Dota Underlords. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and as always, I'll see you next time.